What if you could create more kindness in the world just by being you? Everyone has the potential to create and receive more kindness. What if kindness is more than being nice and compassionate to others? Have you ever considered what having more kindness for you could create in your life? Get ready to learn how the energy of kindness is integral to reducing stress in your life and how it can assist in healing your body. Now, here is the host of Cultivating Kindness with Karen, facilitator of healing, Karen Leslie.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with me. We have another wonderful hour that we're going to spend together here on Cultivating Kindness with Karen. And I'm Karen Leslie, your host for this next little bit. And I'm really looking forward to sharing with you all of the information that I have just flying in and out of my head with you today, because I really believe that if you listen and are open to some of the suggestions I will have for you, that you will be able to change an awful lot in your day-to-day and in what you wish to be creating in your life. I know it's a pretty bold statement, but I believe it. And the reason I believe this so strongly is because it works for me. And I have been working with these tips and these ideas I'm going to share with you quite a lot over the last number of weeks, maybe even, no, weeks is probably accurate. And it's made a huge difference for me. So I'm so excited to share this with you. The show is all about our past, right? This whole idea that our past is always creating. And it is. It is absolutely always creating for us. The tricky part is it really for us? Or is it just kind of happening beside us? I don't really want to say to us, although we could interpret it that way. But where we have been continues to travel along with us. And as it does, it has an influence. It has an impact. That influence creates what you are experiencing in your day-to-day. And I know you have heard me say many times, and I will continue to say this, that we spend most of our day in our thought process in the past. Now, you may argue with me in this saying, no, but, I go to work each day. I'm doing this with my family each day. I'm very much looking at what I need to be doing in the moment and what I need to be doing next. Well, that's only based on the thoughts that you're consciously aware of. The tricky part is that we have a lot of thoughts that run on autopilot and run through our subconscious. And as a result, we are not aware of them. We really do not hear them and recognize them the way that our conscious mind wants us to believe. The power of our subconscious cannot be understated or underrated. It is very strong. And I say a lot, the power of our thoughts is immense. Then you take those thoughts and you put them into the subconscious. Well, you've just exponentialized everything. It makes such a difference. So we're really going to go into this today. I want to help you really understand what is currently happening, what we can do to shift this, and then how do you work with this to create something different for yourself? So hang in here. We'll get through all of that as we go through our show today here on the Inspired Choices Network. What a great place to hang out, right? All right. So let's look at this. What does this really mean, right? When I say we spend too much time in our past with our thoughts, with our stories, our belief systems. Well, you got a hint already in that most of it is subconscious or running on autopilot. A good chunk, though, can be very conscious. We are all aware, if we allow ourselves to be, we are all aware of repeating thoughts, revisiting a story or an event or something somebody said to us. We are also amazing, a lot of us, at going over and over again the stories or the words we want to say to somebody else, or this story that we're carrying that we feel we need to keep repeating to other people. Oh, I hadn't thought of this till just now. It just popped in. And I'm sure some of you can relate to this with what you've heard from others, or perhaps you do this. When there's a significant event in somebody's life, they may keep referring to it, such as life before my divorce, or this is what I could do before my accident, or since I lost my job, and they fill in, or since the birth of my child, and they fill it in. But they keep bringing back this reference point, this period of time where there was something significant that happened to them. Remember, it is the person's choice to make this event significant. So you may not feel that way, and so you may be a little impatient with them or get very tired of what they're saying. But according to the person speaking, this is significant. And as a result, they're going to keep going to that reference point. When we do that, we get very caught up in the autopilot. We get caught in using that as our benchmark for what we want to be saying, doing, or creating, either since it or what we did with that prior. And this is a huge, yeah, I'm just hearing the word barrier. It really is a huge barrier to what you could truly be having in your life. So if you do that, if you're aware of it, or if you hear somebody doing that and you can find a very kind way of explaining this to them, then that would be amazing. Please don't be critical. Please don't go into like, there you go again, or however that those words may appear for you. Be kind. This is connected to something that is having a dramatic impact for this person. Whether it's viewed as positively or perhaps more negatively is irrelevant. This is how they're seeing it. Kindness, right? Cultivating kindness with Karen. There you go, right off the bat. This is really, really prevalent in our society, and we actually have it very strongly encouraged. And that may sound a little odd, but if you're in counseling or if you're in therapy or you're doing some different modalities to help yourself, often people will ask you to recount what brought you to see them. So you tell it again. And then you go to see someone else and you tell them, or you're referred to a different doctor or a different specialist. You tell it again. Think how often somebody who has a serious illness that pops up in their body and the different specialists they need to go to for help. They're always telling part of their story or even all of their story again and again. And it really locks that in. This sets up a chemical response in the body. Those of you who've been following me, you know what that means and how that really sets us up for it just naturally reoccurring over and over again. It also creates, interesting, this is my opinion, but here's the terms, like a neurological dependence on hearing yourself say it again. There's comfort in retelling it again. Now, every time we do this, we are limiting how we're going to be able to look at the future. We're limiting our options for seeing something differently. We often talk about it in very firm language. Like this is a real statement. There's no questions here. There's no curiosity, no what if or what else ideas or energies present. It's this happened, this is the result, and this is where I am. End of story, I'm stuck. And they really are in so many ways. I've done it myself. I definitely have. Not recently, not for a number of years, not for actually quite a few years, but I was definitely in it. We'll even do it actually in reference to somebody else, somebody that may be close to us. I did that in my own family with an event that happened with my husband. I started referencing, well, when this happened for him, and then my story started. So it wasn't even my story. Was I impacted by it? What happened? Yes, but I chose to attach to it. And by doing so, it became part of my story. See how easy it is? We don't even realize we're doing it. It is such a gift when we can slow down and recognize where our thoughts are taking us. And if we can have that courage to truly pause and listen to what we are saying and thinking, there is such a gift there. There really is. We have, I'm going to switch gears here on you for just a moment. We are August 28, 2024 today. And we're entering into the energies of a new moon that's coming up on September 2nd, 2024. Perhaps September 3rd, depending where you are in the world, because it peaks at 9:55 p.m. Eastern Time. So this moon and the energies around it, there's a number of planetary things going on, is a wonderful time to actually reevaluate exactly this topic. So what are you continuing to repeat? Because a new moon is a time where we can actually let go and put our wishes and our desires forward. What would you love to have? What do you want to create? How do you see the future for you? And the energies right now is going to impact us until the end of 2024. So this is a beautiful time, whether you're listening live today or you're listening to the recording, to actually work with the information I'm going to give you and see what benefits you can gain from it. The energy right around right now is fabulous. So wasn't that clever? Thank you very much, universe. So, all right, back to being stuck in the way we're thinking and living in the past. Some of the things I mentioned were really wonderful ones, like a child being born, or maybe you moved to a new country and it's amazing, or whatever it might be for you. Even a fabulous event, one that fills your heart and makes you smile, does the same thing, because that event is still in your past. It's kind of like saying, it's a little different, but we'll say that was the best day ever. Then you've just labeled that day as the best day. And are you giving yourself room and space and opportunity to have a day that's even better? Truthfully, you're not, because that's your benchmark. And your brain hears you say, that was the best day ever. So it's going to look for support to prove that that is the best day. So you'll still find faults in another really great day. These statements lock us into our past. When we leave the world of curiosity and adventure and intrigue and questions, we lock things in place. Now, we can't get around making statements like that. There are times when it's absolutely necessary. If your boss asks you for a specific answer to a question or a problem and you answer with a question back, it's not going to work. So we need to be able to utilize these statements. We need to also understand when we're using them, how we are using them, and what is the effect of them. I hope that's really clear. We need to go to our first break. So feel free to jump into the chat room if you like, especially if what I'm saying is kind of giving you a few questions. Come on over to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. And then you'll see in the top bar there, or you can put in /chat room and click that. Come in and join and bring your questions and let's have a conversation here. You are always welcome. It's a joy to have you here. And if not, and you're on the replay, you can always send me an email, Karen@KarenLeslie.ca, with your questions that way, and I'm happy to answer them for you. So don't go away, everyone. We will be back just after these couple of short messages, and thank you for being here with me on the Inspired Choices Network as we have another wonderful conversation today about your past is always creating. All right, we'll be back shortly. Thank you.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. All right. As in the little break we just had, I was thinking that some of you may have found it a little odd that I started talking about the new moon that's coming up. It really probably felt very maybe disjointed or like just, she just took a left turn. And that's okay. However, I think I'd like to explain to you why that came forward. I don't talk about this very often, but one of the things I do is I work with the new moon and full moon every month. And I have a private membership group called Cosmic Harmony, Balancing Emotions and Energies. And it's fabulous and it's fun and I love it. And so being in that space virtually daily, because I'm always watching the transits and what's going on in the skies, so that I can bring information to my membership and give them tools and ideas on how to handle different things. It just kind of flowed into the conversation in the first segment. This is, as I say, a membership group, but if you would like information on it, you can find out about it on my website, KarenLeslie.ca. And also you can send me an email or find me on social media. The membership group is held through Facebook. So you can find Karen Leslie there, or you can find Cosmic Harmony with Karen on Facebook as well. So yeah, that's why the new moon and all the energies really popped in so strongly, because I'm already in the energy of it, because I start the energetic transmissions for the group tomorrow. So let's get back to today's topic. In the first segment, I was mentioning how the subconscious, when our stories reach the subconscious, they go on autopilot and they're just working along, kickety-boo, happy, being recited, being told to the world. But what I want you to understand is, like, how do they get there and how do they get so strong? And yes, there's the chemical reaction in the body. I'm not going to go into that in more detail today. What I want you to understand is that stories naturally bring about emotions. They just do. Whether the emotion is, happy and elated and just like you're gushing about what you're talking about, or the other side of the coin, and it brings in real sadness or fears or anxieties or just such a depressive energy in you. Any emotion, especially an emotion that has strength, just brings that story, that statement, just like right down into your subconscious immediately in a heartbeat. It's probably the fastest pathway that we've got going. As it drops in and meets the story that's already there, it strengthens it. So repeating strengthens it every time it goes in. The emotions attached strengthen it and bring it down every time you tell the story, or every time you reference a specific date or event in your life. And again, I want to remind you that even the positive ones, this happens with them, and they are still a limitation in your day-to-day living and what it is you're able to create in your future. The beauty of telling a story and the beauty of listening to a story is the emotions. That's what lets your listener kind of lean in and want to hear more. And when you feel the emotions, it encourages you to say more. This loop creates a real stuck energy within us. So let's say you have a story that is not so much on the positive side, and there's some anxiety or trepidation or maybe a little bit of fearfulness that's included in it. These emotions start to become very normal in your general way of thinking, just day to day. These emotions start to take a larger, what's the word I want? I keep hearing just piece of real estate. Like they take up a larger percentage of your thoughts, of your energy in your physical body and your energy fields around you. And as they take up more space, they become stronger. And we feel them more. We experience them more. And they become truer and truer and truer to us, so that they are a firm belief, a firm way of living our life. This then creates difficulties in shifting that past story. So step one, right? You need to recognize the stories you're telling, good or bad. Just what are you saying on a regular basis? What do you find yourself repeating often? Then two, look at the emotions that are attached to the stories. And how are they making you feel? They may make you feel great. They may not. I just want you to look at how are they making you feel? Regardless as to whether you like the feeling or not, your body is going to ask for it over and over again, right? Remember, your mind and your body have no point of view as to whether that thought is good for you or helpful. It just wants you to keep having it. It likes it, even if you don't. Here's where the frustration can come in. Here's where we can go into that self-judgment and disappointment with ourselves and find everything around us starts to become very unsatisfactory, filled with different areas where you become uncomfortable with moving forward, or you start to shrink your life around you, becoming smaller because that may feel safer. And if you're with less people or without those opportunities for those emotions to come forward, we can feel more comfortable. And we may think that's good because maybe the story doesn't come back as often when we don't allow ourselves to be in different situations or with different people. But it's not better. It's more controlling of you. It's putting far greater handcuffs on you, preventing you from creating the life you would like and preventing you from trying new things. So how do we get out of this? Okay, you've got two parts. Here's my banding. You've got two parts, right? Recognize the story and recognize the emotions that are there. Now, just saying to yourself, I'm not going to say that anymore, or I'm not going to tell that story to anybody ever again, has a low probability of working. I'm not going to say it won't. If you are really on top of this and you start to hear yourself enter into your story and you stop yourself immediately, you are eventually going to stop the story from coming forward. It will take time. You can do it. Most people will get frustrated and give up on it before we can truly let that go. And here's where working with other people, myself included, can be a really big help. But where I want to go with this is enable yourself to see if you're going in the direction you would like to go in. If it's really important to tell that story again, then you're going to tell it. But if you're tired of it, then here's your opportunity to shift it, to regroup, to slow down, and to actually look at what this story is creating for you, what this past memory is creating for you. And it will help you get out of that natural rhythm of it automatically coming up when you'll do that little bit of investigation. It means going inside, listening to your thoughts, and spending that time with yourself and being truthful with what this situation is giving you. If you go to that space of thinking of, well, that's just what I do, or it really has no impact on me, that's okay. And I would love for that to be changed at some point in the future. You don't need to do it right now, but changing that belief around it will give you more options to having more freedom as to how you would like your future to be. We need to be prepared to look at what has become the norm or on autopilot and see where it may not be helpful. We are very resistant to letting go of our stories. We're pretty cute that way. I don't know. We humans, we're kind of funny, but we are really resistant to them. That comfort, that familiarity, we like that. I did a show quite a while ago on, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. You can go and look it up. That might help you out a little bit, but we really resist letting go of our stories. I think it's just a human thing. We can even go back and justify that this is, oral storytelling was so important centuries ago because that was how information was shared from community to community, village to village. But we don't have that anymore. We don't need that. We've got this. How I'm talking to you today, right now, live in this moment, wherever you may be around the world. But the impact of me telling the same story on myself is the same. And I'm just thinking, like, those storytellers, and there's a word for them, and I've lost it right now, but how that shaped their lives would have been quite dramatic. Because even telling someone else's story, as I mentioned in the first segment, can become your story. Wow. Second break. We're here already. When we come back, I'm going to start to share with you tips and ideas on how you can work with all of this to shift it so that you can move from being stuck in that repeating pattern and continuing to strengthen everything into your subconscious. So how to let them go. And I also will have a different way of us to look at them that can help shift what you're creating for yourself in the future. All right. Thanks, everybody. I love having you here with me every week on Inspiring Choices Network. Cultivating Kindness with Karen wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this amazing network and all of you that listen live every week with me and listen to the replays. If there's shows that you particularly love, please like them, share them, send me a comment through the different platforms that you listen to the podcast on. I would love to hear from you. All right. We will be back in just a couple of minutes, everyone. Don't go away. All right. Thank you.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. I was just thinking during that break a little bit about storytellers. And then I looked at the comments in the chat room and it said storytellers weaved stories. And I thought they did. And then I thought about, what does it mean to weave a story? They weaved stories. And it brought to mind that when we keep repeating our stories, how we can actually start to weave other things into them. We can start to embellish our stories. We can bring in attributes and what we think is a fact that may not be accurate. Now, we don't necessarily do this consciously. Some people might, but I think most don't. It's just we get really involved in the energy of our story, and a thought comes in and we add it in. No bad intention is there. Like, we're not trying to mislead anybody. You're not looking to alter the truth of the story, but we can add little bits in to make it more interesting, to bring our emotions to the surface with greater ease or maybe quicker. Weaving a story has so many different possibilities within it that again will help strengthen that story to be with us. All right. I did say, though, that we were going to look beyond this now. Like, okay, what do we do with all of this? Well, one of the approaches that people will do is that they can look for what lessons may be there. I'm not a big fan, to be perfectly honest, on the word lessons, but what can you learn? And I know that's just another way of saying lessons, but I don't know. There's something about lessons. I just that I feel like there's not an option, that it's being drilled towards me versus me going into something and looking at it and being in that energy of exploration and curiosity so I can seek out what I would like to be learning or what's there for me to learn. And you can look at your story. You may be very successful doing it on your own. Journaling would be great. You could also ask to work with your guides or your team members during dream time. You can go into your subconscious and ask for information about the story. You can bring that to your mind and see what happens with dreams. So you might want to have a journal beside your bedside just to write things down when you wake up. But yeah, journaling's great. And talking with others from the perspective, though, of where you can talk about the story from you being the explorer of the story and not there looking for another person to give you their interpretation or what it means to them. So choose who you talk with if you want to go that route carefully. Seeing what's there for you, what you can be learning or taking away from your story is a great place to go into that energy of healing from it. Oftentimes, this can lead us towards forgiveness, whether it's forgiveness for yourself or forgiveness for another person, or both. That's entirely possible. It could be both. And then going through the different stages of forgiveness and there's so many different ways to work with this. I have my own favorites and other people have theirs. That can help loosen the bonds or the chains that that story has on you when you can get into that space. Oftentimes, if the story is based around how you've been harmed by another person, whether it's physically or emotionally, if you can allow yourself to be in their shoes, so to speak, and see what was going on in their world at those moments. Now, you're not going to know 100%, but you can get an idea, unless you're willing to speak to that person. That if they're still in your social circles, then that's always an option. But you can see what's there for you to learn, to help you to let it go, to go in and, as I say, do the forgiveness, do some trauma work if you need to allow yourself the gift of releasing your hold on it. And that's maybe wording you could use. When you look at an area like this, you can then shift from anger and distrust in it more into perhaps a little bit of understanding, more into maybe some compassion. You may even be able to move into that energy of gratitude. And that will be a big one for some people. I 100% understand that. But if you can move into gratitude, find one tiny, tiny speck of something positive that has come out of the situation that created that story in the past, then you crack open a door that can really bring you so much healing. to be truly in a space of gratitude, like to really feel it, all right, bring in the emotion that's with it, anchor that in, that will really help you, then gratitude can be a tremendous tool to helping let that past situation go. You can also look at the situation or the event from a process that I think might be called re-envisioning or revisioning. I think it's just revisioning. And what that means is that you will go into the story. And yes, I'm giving you permission to go into your story. You go into it. You can use your imagination, which is great, or you can journal and write it out and see exactly what is happening and then rewrite it, revision what is happening, change things around so that you step into a space or place of empowerment in your story. Because oftentimes these stories, especially the ones that are sadder or more difficult that way, we end up being more in the victim mode with them, things being done to us or at us. And we lose sight of our own role in what happened. Now, I know that some of you are going to hear that and you're going to go right away into, yes, but there was this accident and I had nothing to do with it. This person did this. And I get that. I totally understand what you're saying. However, you can still work through that with all of the tools and the ideas that I've mentioned. You can still work through with looking for a glimmer of something that has come out of this that would not likely have happened had you not had that accident, to find that space to have some gratitude. In all likelihood, it will be one or two versus a much longer list of things that have been difficult, but that's okay. The key is to find the one. And then that may lead you to finding others. Revising your stories will enable you to have a new outlook on how you're seeing them, on the emotions that they're bringing forward, and to the attachment that you had with the old version. Now, you will likely have to repeat the new version a few times, whether you sit in meditation and you envision it all happening and you see it in your imagination, or whatever method you choose. You could use a voice recorder and speak the event again differently and allow your voice to have the emotions and the different volumes and energies coming present. And also listen to the words you're speaking and see what they are telling you, because there will be messages there as well. When we allow ourselves, and this is I love this technique, when we allow ourselves to revision our story, it then opens up the possibilities of new events coming forward. It will allow you to have that opportunity for a different way of thinking or a different belief to be able to pop up that you would never, ever have acknowledged before. You couldn't have heard it. You couldn't have seen it. But when you revise your story, you can create that new outlook, enabling you to create a new future that would not be possible without doing this. You intentionally create something from the past in a new way from what you've been currently doing. You change your attachment to it. You change your outlook around it, and you change the future opportunities for something different to appear for you. It's powerful. It may take a little practice. You may stumble with it a little bit, and that's okay. It will be very new for a lot of you to look at things this way. But boy, oh boy, do I recommend you give it a go. I really do. You know, I talk sometimes that I don't like the word mindset, that I like the word mind shift. And this is a really great example of that. When we are in that same story, we have a mindset, like set in stone, written out, like this is it. But to have that mind shift, movement, change, it is such a gift to yourself. And this will be a gift to others. Remember, we will take on the story of someone else and adopt it into our own way of thinking. So as you change how you're looking at your story and you rewrite it and you create something different, that will have impact on anyone else who has adopted your story as well. And you may not know if anyone has, but chances are high that there's a good probability of that having happened. We are going to our final break now. When we come back, I will do my utmost to wrap all this up for you. Thank you for being here with me on the Inspired Choices Network for another episode of Cultivating Kindness with Karen. It's such a joy to have this opportunity to share with you different ideas and ways of looking at your life, hopefully empowering you to make changes so that your life just gets better and better and better. All right, this break is real quick. Don't go away. I'll be back with you all very shortly. Thanks, everybody.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, everybody, welcome back. All right, let me see. How can I wrap all of this up for you? We started off at the beginning saying our past is always creating. It's creating what's going to come next for us. It's creating our future. Now, likely, what's coming next is going to be very similar, perhaps even identical, to what has been showing up in your life. The impact and strength and the attachment to our stories and, repeating them. The universe is only hearing this, right? Every week on my show, you're told the universe is always listening. Well, it is. And it listens energetically. So those emotions that I was speaking about, how they anchor in your story into your subconscious, well, that is what the universe is hearing as well. So it's getting, okay, Karen is fearful of this, so we better be careful of that. Karen is unsure about this. Okay, so we better keep her away from that. Karen is physically uncomfortable as a result of this. Okay, so we need to not let her do this. My body, my mind, and the universe are all doing their very best to give me what I'm asking for. Yet, consciously, I could be saying, but this isn't working for me anymore. But my stories, my energy, my actions are all supporting the same thing. Re-envisioning how you wish that story to be is so powerful. Working to learn from it, to let it go, to allow the situation around it to heal is also very powerful. There's a really touching comment in the chat room. Someone who's here with us is saying, I told a story today that brought tears right back about 10 minutes before your show. This is what happens. We are so, I'd like to find a different word, but really it's just our attachment to our emotions is probably one of the strongest things we have going on inside of us. Given to us for really good reasons. Their strength is there for a good reason. However, remember, there's no one at a little gate before the emotion is allowed out saying, is this helpful? Is this supportive? Is this kind? It is automatic. And then it's up to us consciously to think, wow, do I still want to be feeling like this? Now, if you want to maintain the memory around the story or that created it, fine, absolutely. Then I suggest look at revisioning it. How can you work with it though, so that, if those are not tears of joy, then how can you work at it so that those tears don't come back? How can you rewrite aspects of your past to create a future that could bring tears of joy and excitement and elation, even though its origin may have been in something difficult? I've had lots of times in my life, like the suicidal thoughts that oh my gosh, I haven't a clue how many I've had. Like dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens, thousands. But now I can look at them and think about them and tell the story around them. And I'm filled with an energy of hope for the person who's hearing them, because I'm on the other side. And there's not that energy I'm hoping. My desire is that there's not that energy that would bring somebody back into the sadness of the thought of leaving this planet, but would be there then thinking, I have those thoughts too, Karen. And I'd like to stop them. I'd like them to go away. I would like to be excited for my next birthday. I've revisioned, revised, reworked, did the inner work for healing, have a greater personal understanding as to what was bringing these thoughts forward. Now it's a thought without those emotions. You can do this too. You absolutely can. What are you open to receiving, gaining, changing, learning that right now has barriers in front of it? Who are you willing to be? Because you'll change. I did. And I personally think for the better. I'm happier. Now, I need to pause because we are almost out of time. I just want to remind you about next week's show. I'm hoping you'll join me again. We are going to talk about turning the blahs into aha. Taking those days that are just like flat and seeing how to get out of them, how to flip it around, and how to bring that, I'll do this. This would be great. So join me next week. It'll be a really interesting show. I just know it. Now, back to today. This energy of kindness to bring into you with letting go or revising those stories of the past is such a gift. You will be amazed at what can open up for you. You truly will. There is so much ahead of you that in this moment, I understand you can't see it. But if you get a little curiosity, a little bravery, a little courage, call in those waves of kindness, you can do it.
Thank you for listening to Cultivating Kindness with Karen. Karen Leslie returns Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can find Karen at KarenLeslie.ca and follow her on social media. Until next Wednesday, Karen is sending you waves of kindness for a fabulous week. Remember, it's only you who has the power to be and receive the kindness required to change your life.